Gaming Morning Show continues this morning. Thanks for being with us. It is just past 7:25 out on the West Coast, and we are thankful to have Donte Kirby joining us from Technically a Writer in Baltimore to talk to us about some of the things that are video game related in Donte's world, who's an avid gamer as well. I came across you for a couple of reasons. You had recently wrote a story about some changing business models in the video game industry, but then you kind of put me into touch with some other things that you've written that I definitely want to bring up. Let's start with this, though. In your bio, it talks about Report for America, and that is a program that pairs people with newspapers. Describe that program and what kind of reporting you do it technically.
So think of it as like, are you familiar with like Teach for America or maybe even the Peace Corps?
Mm-hmm.
So think of like that model, but for journalists. So journalism has changed a lot, and like as this has become more of like one-stop shop where like big national conglomerates sort of like control like a lot of the media. Smaller newsrooms, like, or actually it's not even that. It's more like how media and like in terms of ad revenue and like how you actually get paid from doing journalism has changed a lot. And this like has caused like smaller newsrooms to like shut down and lose funding and like not be able to like hire as many reporters as they would like to. So Report for America is like a nonprofit that partners with newsrooms to allow them to like find journalists and like pays for half of the salary so they can like have the bandwidth to like cover things they would like to cover. So for me in Baltimore, I cover digital equity, and because of Report for America and like how it works is it like places journalists and newsrooms like work and service underserviced communities.
That sounds really cool. And then, Theo, we were going to ask about the How I Got Here series.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I was just wondering. The How I Got Here series, this is a profile series that y'all are writing, and the one that stood out to me was the one about Karen Chang, who is a co-founder about the company called Studio 217. What did you learn in writing about Karen's journey?
So basically a lot of what I learned was that like there's more than one way to do the video game industry. Like it doesn't just have to be AAA titles. It doesn't just have to be like, you know, your Call of Duties, or even thinking of it in terms of like an indie studio who like sort of made like Cave Story, like guy who made his own game by himself. Like you can actually work in like the medical field in gaming and like create video games for, in some ways, for like doctors to train, and like there's a lot of ways to go about the industry to, and like Karen like has her own indie studio that's like does VR, and like that's sort of like her passion project on the side, but she still works in video game development in a way that like some people might not think of like how to use that. Like I don't know if they got a degree in video game development or they want to make video games. Like this, I guess, just as the expression goes, there's more than one way to skin the cat.
Well, yeah, and the story was really fascinating, and we'll link through to the profile. And you've done a couple of other profiles in the same ilk with the How I Got Here series, so we'll make sure to link through that as well. The other thing is we have Donte Kirby joining us on Gaming Morning Show, technically writer out of Baltimore. The other one that stood out to me that you shared was M.A.P Technologies, because I've been thinking a lot about retail experience lately, right? GameStop's been in the news not only because of the stock, but just the idea of like, are brick and mortar retail stores, you know, not going to last in the video game space? And I said, if you can make it an experience, you know, I can go in there and get more than just I need to buy this $60 or now $70 game. And M.A.P Technology seems to kind of be embracing that in a way. They've really changed over the course of the years. How are they helping out the community?
So it's all about like building that community. Like I don't know how into like the fighting game community you are, but they always talk about like that dichotomy between being esports and being like homegrown and like bringing the real back and what have you. So it's like when you build that community and audience, that's something that your Amazon can never give you. That's something that your digital sales can never give you, of like the person sitting next to you playing a game and like actually building that like camaraderie and like sort of definitely with like fighting game and competitive games to in general, it's like all about like steel sharpening steel. So like it's just a certain environment that if you tap into it, then it builds a loyal fan base that'll like support you even in those down times or even as the industry changes.
It was really cool to see some of the pictures, and I want to link to M.A.P Technologies' Instagram because you can start to see some of this evolution. I think you wrote the story in January, and they were starting to open up this new space in March, and you're starting to see some of that come to fruition now as we move into the summertime. I need your help, though. This is very important. Okay, when we are on the air, we play some games during our breaks, and we've been playing a lot of Rocket League lately, and you told me that you're pretty good at this game. How do I get better at Rocket League? Because I'm horrible at it.
The both truest part and the saddest part is that you literally just have to practice.
Oh,
like you
man.
literally have to find a YouTube video. They'll tell you like, oh, how do you fly, and actually follow the directions. But who wants to like learn and practice to play a video game? You just want to play it and be good. That's the only way Rocket League works. You got to literally like spend time in the free training mode and just like practice shots. Like it's literally like you were like at a court and like I gotta go shoot my free throws. Like that's how the only way to get good at Rocket League.
I'm pretty automatic from the free throw line. I'm still at least 8 of 10. So I guess I just got to get to that point in Rocket League. Out of E3, is there anything that you're super excited about on the horizon?
I saw the Breath of the Wild trailer and I was hoping it would be one of those trailers that would drop and it'd be like, oh, it's out today. Like, but that would be too much wishful thinking. But Smash Brothers is probably the best fighting game ever made. Like it has Kazuya in it now, and that's like wild to me. That like every big game show, Smash Brothers drops another announcement. It's like there's no way that character will be in there, and that character is in there.
Well, if we want to keep in touch with you, what are some of the best ways to follow your reporting and follow you?
So follow me on Twitter at Curbskaderb. Technically has a newsletter, so you can go there and subscribe to the newsletter. And yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. We'd love to have you back down the road. We'll keep tabs on your reporting. And like I said, too, we'll share on our Twitter at WatchGMS some of your stories that we talked about today. Donte Kirby, thank you so much for taking time to join us on Gaming Morning Show.
Thank you for having me. Have
Absolutely.
a nice day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Donte Kirby on Gaming Morning Show.